It's time to talk turkey. Get your questions ready for our live half-hour turkey hunting call-in show. Phone lines are open now, and the number to call is 1-800-944-4664.
Hello, I'm Tim Farmer, host of Kentucky Afield, the longest-running outdoor television show in the nation. You know, I've had the privilege of watching Kentucky's elk herd grow to the largest in the East and Boone and Crockett status. We call it the land of 10,000 elk. This year, 1,000 hunting tags will be available to the public. With Kentucky's Pick 2, you can enter twice for the draw. Apply online by April 30th for your chance in the land of 10,000 elk.
Tastes like victory.
Deal with Sugar over here. She a good dog? She's 3.5. She's with me all the time.
Hello and welcome to Kentucky Afield. I'm Tim Farmer. Tonight we have a special half-hour call-in show all about turkey hunting. It's almost upon us. Number to call, 1-800-944-4664. The panel answering questions tonight. To my left, Steve Doby is the Turkey Program Coordinator. Thanks for being here tonight.
Pleasure.
And Mr. Rufus Cravens, Conservation Officer. Now tonight we got something a little bit different. We're going to let you ask a few questions on Facebook. But one thing, we're talking about turkeys tonight, but there's two other critters we ought to really acknowledge tonight. That's cardinals and cats. Wow, has anybody ever seen such a game? You got to give kudos to both teams, but go Cats. And Collie Stein get better quick. All right, I've got that on my system. I got no sleep last night.
It was a long night.
I'm still hyped up.
Good game.
All right, sorry about that. Now, we're going to answer as many questions as we possibly can tonight, so as soon as your questions start coming in, we're going to ask them. One thing that we need to talk about real quick, the 1-800-25-ALERT number, there's some changes.
That's correct. Starting April 1st, the 1-800-25-ALERT Report a Poacher hotline will no longer ring through to Fish and Wildlife. It will ring through to Kentucky State Police. When they take your call, they will ask you what county your complaint is in. Once you advise them of that, they will transfer you to that Kentucky State Police post, and then the dispatchers there will take your information about the complaint and dispatch it out to an appropriate officer in that area. One other thing, that number, they will not be able to answer any general questions at that number like sometimes our dispatch was able to at that number. It will be basically a complaint-only hotline from starting April 1 on out.
Only about violations.
That's correct. If they have, need general questions, then they would need to call the, either go online or call the 1-800 number during regular business hours to try to get their question answered or get a hold of their local officer.
All right, let's ask a few questions. Zerbeth from Versailles, can you shoot white turkeys and do they count towards your bag limit? A lot of confusion there. People think they're white turkeys.
You get asked that question a lot, and yes, the white turkeys are, as long as it's in season and everything else is legal, you can harvest the white turkeys, and yes, they do count towards your normal statewide bag limit.
All right, we want to mention that we do have a Facebook page, and we're starting to use that. We set up shoots on it, so if you want to ask a question on Facebook tonight, you're more than welcome to do that. We're going to take just a few on that. Kentucky Afield Facebook page. If you're not on it, get on it. Be a part of this. It's a lot of fun. Sam is from Crab Orchard. Can a convicted felon hunt turkeys with a bow or crossbow?
What I would advise, if they're currently under any kind of probation or parole or probation, then they would need to contact their parole officer. But if they are not currently on that, then crossbows and bows are legal for them to hunt with.
All right. There's a bunch of questions about where to hunt. What's the best county for hunting thunder chickens? Guy Wilburn wants to know. That's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is. Kentucky, we're blessed. We have turkeys north, south, east to west. We kill gobblers in every county now. And we've got some great public lands, in the east and the west. You don't have to travel too far. We've got mainland lands that we manage. We have Forest Service lands, so there's plenty of opportunity out there. You can't really go wrong especially if you get out and put a little legwork in and do some scouting. Go out if it's just a couple mornings next week and listen. See if you can hear some birds gobbling. That'll give you a leg up on all those other hunters that are hitting the ground on the opening of youth or statewide season. So go after them.
Ken from Hardin County, if a turkey flies up on a limb in the middle of the day, can you shoot that turkey?
Yes. That would not be considered a roost if it flew up in the middle of the day.
And often, especially a lot of times those younger birds, maybe have gotten their butt whipped a time or two on the ground, you'll see them in the day going from limb to limb. And it's just a mode of travel now.
Now, I have been actively hunting in the field and a bird see a movement or something and fly right up in front of me. And I've actually, you're kind of, it just takes over, instinct takes over, and I have shot that bird as it goes up to fly. That's unusual, but that is legal as well.
Yes, it is.
Jeff Mize on Facebook, 10 years from now, what will the population look like and what are the goals for the state?
Well, in 10 years we'll know. But I can say that if it's anything like the past 10 years, we've exhibited some fantastic population growth in our wild turkeys. In 10 years, it wasn't 20 years ago you were lucky to see or hear a turkey in a lot of parts of Kentucky. So we made great strides. A lot of wildlife populations are here on the ground now because of restoration efforts. Kentucky turkeys are no different. With the National Wild Turkey Federation, our department, we have the turkeys that we do today. However, that population growth won't continue upwards forever. It's going to reach some threshold. Carrying capacity, the landscape can only hold so much, and it will level off. And we'll see that on our harvest numbers, and it's possible we could be approaching that in the next few years. But within 10 years, I'd say we'll know.
Mike is from Kenton County. Is there any type of feed that can be placed out before the season?
No, I mean, not. You can actually, you cannot feed wildlife outside the curtilage of your home from March 1st through May 31st period, and then, it would have to be removed 30 days prior to turkey hunting that area.
Larry's from Clay County. Have hens started laying eggs yet?
No, I dare say no, not yet. It's a little too early. And really our temperatures have been pretty cool this spring, which will help hunters, but it may delay that breeding activity and the subsequent nesting period a little bit, but that should help hunters.
Bill is from Henderson. He wants to know, how long will a turkey live? What's the average lifespan of a turkey?
It depends on whether it has a habit of walking out in front of shotguns. In general, I'd say not very long. Upland game birds, turkeys, I'd say in that 3-4 year lifespan, especially as far as those gobblers go.
JR, it says from Tennessee and Harlan County. I don't know if he has duals, lives in both places or what. But the question is, private property hunter, what do I need to have to be legal in Kentucky? To be a legal turkey hunter, what do you need?
If he is a resident of Kentucky and is a landowner in the state of Kentucky, then he can hunt turkeys on his own property, and he is licensed and permit exempt for turkeys.
Jack is from McGoffin County. Can I shoot a white gobbler? We're going to get a bunch of these, but
You can, yes. And I'm not sure where that comes from, but I guess there's some confusion whether, is it a domestic turkey? And if it is a domestic turkey, should it count toward my bag limit? Well, the simple, if it's not in a fence and it's out with other wild turkeys or it's acting like a wild turkey, it's a wild turkey. And we do have those. Oftentimes we get these recessive genes in the population, and we'll have a chick out of a nest that just turns out white, smoked phase, a reddish phase, but they are wild birds. And like Rufus said earlier, it does count toward your statewide bag limit.
Jane Scott is from Lawrenceburg. Can I shoot more than one turkey per day?
No, the bag limit is 2 male turkeys or turkeys with visible beards for the season, but you may only take 1 per day.
Gotcha. Okay, another white turkey question. And if you see me throwing questions away, I am not disregarding your question. That means we've already had a similar question. When they answer the phones, they bring them straight to me and I dig through them. And John from Georgetown. I know what you're going to say, Rufus. Can I hunt turkeys with my .22 rifle?
No, you cannot.
I like those quick
those
answers.
are pretty easy. 20 gauge shotgun, nothing smaller than a 20 gauge, nothing larger than a 10 gauge.
All right, Daniel Tricia Givens. What is the definition for a dependent child for license exemption for hunting on your own property?
I would say if they're still considered a dependent on your income taxes, then for our purposes, they would be still considered a dependent child.
Braxton Hammonds wants to know, why doesn't Kentucky have an archery season for turkeys? He's from Whitley County.
We do. It just coincides with our shotgun season.
Right.
There's a very narrow window in which you can really hunt turkeys in the spring, or can hunt turkeys effectively and not inhibit breeding or nest laying activities. And I think we've nailed it in Kentucky with our 23-day window. If you start chopping that up by weapon type, you're really limiting the activity that people can get involved with.
Todd Ehringer wants to know, how did this last winter possibly affect the population for the spring? I mean, we had a rougher winter. He's from Bullitt County.
It was a tough winter, that's for sure. You know, the temperatures turkeys can manage. We have wild turkey populations in Michigan that do fine. What ends up affecting turkeys is that frozen cover on the ground. Snow is one thing. They can kick and kind of pick through that. But when you get that crust of ice, and that's what we had this summer, it makes a difference. So may have had some mortality throughout the winter. Turkeys may enter the spring a little underweight. But, you know, turkeys are turkeys. Like most upland game birds, they can be really affected by weather. And that's something we can't control. And they almost inevitably bounce back.
Shannon is from Grayson. Does my wife need a license or permit just to go out with him and hunt? She's not hunting herself, just wants to watch.
No, she can go as long as she's not carrying it, or as long as she's not hunting, she's fine with that.
And she needs to be really, really quiet.
Yeah, very quiet.
Austin is from Wayne County, and he wants to know, I think he's just starting out, he wants to know how to call a turkey in and what is the sequence. And he's wanting to know how to make calls. I would highly suggest you to go to our YouTube site. Look at YouTube, look at Kentucky Afield, and we have so many segments on there. One of them is called Turkey Hunting 101, and we go through basic calling and what you need to go out in the woods. Check that out. Everybody has different methods. Look online. There are professional turkey callers on there. There's so much information out there, and everybody's got their own style, and you're coming up with yours. Some people that I know are the worst callers I've ever heard, and they kill lots of birds. So just because you're not making the perfect noise, but the one thing I would recommend is don't overcall.
Yep.
Do not overcall. Make your noise, listen, and then let that bird react and hopefully come to you. Because how many times you've gone out there early in your hunting experience and I don't see anything. You stand up and he's right over here and he flies.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want that. Okay, Neil's from Spencer County. Now here's a good question, a common question.
Okay.
He's from Spencer County. Can you kill a white turkey anytime? If you see a white one, you need to get him out of the gene pool.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot too. The answer is no on that. It has to be during a legal turkey season.
Sean is from Madison County. Are electronic calls legal?
They are not legal.
David Combs is from Bath County. I have a handicap license and use a crossbow. Can I use it spring and fall to hunt turkeys?
Yes, you can. If he's got the exempt, yeah, he can. He can use it in both spring and fall.
And Scott is from Laurel County. Is it legal to take a shotgun and crossbow into the field when hunting turkey?
Yes, it is. Obviously during the spring season it is. Yeah.
Jeff is from Adair County. Can you talk about hunting below the red line, Green River Lake? You familiar with that?
No. If you have a question about hunting or access in a local area, though, definitely call us at our headquarters at 1-800-858-1549. That'll go to our info center. We can route that to a local biologist or person on the ground.
Or check out our website, fw.ky.gov, or again, give us a call, 1-800-858-1549. We have the best information people in the world. Jerry's from Montgomery County. He's a felon from 1982. Can he hunt with a shotgun?
Under Kentucky's statutes, it says anyone whose conviction was prior to July 15th, 1994, can possess a long gun, meaning a rifle or shotgun. Again, like I said, I would say that far back he's probably not on a probation or parole. But yeah, according to our state laws, he can possess a firearm.
Brian is from Hardin County. Property is split into 2 lots. They do connect. Can there be a feeder on the property that he does not hunt?
No, I mean, if he knows the feeder's there and he's hunting anywhere near the feeder, he's opening himself up for violations as well. And best thing to do if he knows it's there, he needs to get a hold of the local officer in that area and let them know, because all that's doing is taking birds away from him if he's trying to do it the right way and they're doing it the wrong way.
Aaron is from Meade County, and he's got a question that is a very good question. It's very to the point. What's our turkey season going to be like this year?
With the winter that we had, turkeys that we harvest may be a little underweight. Our brood production the last couple years has been below average. We haven't seen any real impact on our spring harvest. On the fall harvest, we did see a sizable drop this year. That could have been just simply because it rained on 2 Saturdays of the shotgun season. This spring will actually be very telling to show us, the impact that the winter had. Should be good. I'd say we'll stay within our range of kind of average harvest, that 29 to 32,000 bird range, and should be a good season, especially if we have good weather or no rain on the weekends.
Anita is from Nelson County. If you lease property, do you have to have a license and tag?
Yeah, if you just strictly lease it. If you live on that property and you work on that property, then you would fall under the tenant exemption. But if you just lease it, live somewhere else, but lease it and farm it, then you would still have to have license and permits to hunt on it.
James is from Breathitt County, and he wants to know why turkeys have seemed to disappear in Breathitt, Wolf, Owsley County. that may be an overstatement, excuse me. But there are, and that's a question that I've got. I have noticed different places that I've hunted in different counties, you may see a lot of turkeys for 3 or 4 years, and then for 2 years, they're just not there. And then maybe next year they're back. What is the
couple things can be going on. Like I said earlier, upland game birds like turkeys are very sensitive to weather. And if you have some local patterns that really impact summer brood production, that can cause a declining effect that you may witness for a couple years. They'll come back, but like you said, it may take a little while. Number 2, Rufus hit on it earlier. If you're surrounded by properties that feed throughout the year, you got people pulling birds off of your property. I shouldn't say, and I say your property, not your birds. The wildlife are a product of the state. Just because they're on your property doesn't mean they belong to you. But when people around you are feeding, that's drawing birds off of your property. So a couple various scenarios that could be going on. But at some local, very small regional areas, I have had similar calls as well.
I've got several of these. We got a lot of viewers in our border states, and we thank you all for watching in all of our border states. A lot of from Ohio. AJ is from Ohio. Are the regulations for turkeys in Kentucky the same or similar in Ohio?
I can't answer that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Ohio seasons and regulations are up there.
He's going to have to watch Ohio Afield.
Yeah.
Or he could go call our very helpful info center, and they can provide him with a copy of our
That's the best thing in the
2014
world.
spring hunting guide. And this information, as well as a paper copy, he can go on our website tonight and look at it, and he could compare the 2 regulations. That'd be my suggestion.
We have great tech support as well. Again, I know we've said it several times, but information people, 1-800-858-1549, fw.ky.gov. And between those things, and if you're out shopping for your bullets and hats and such, pick you up one of these guides when you're buying your license. Michael is from Garrett County. Can I call for someone without a license?
Yes.
I mean, can he have what he's saying is, can he not have a license?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, he can. He can call for someone and he's fine without a license or permit.
Okay. This is not the fishing show. That is coming up April 26th. So be prepared. Noah is from Perry County. Good question. When's the youth season?
This coming weekend.
Yeah,
April 5th.
by golly.
A week from today.
Yep. April
Let's
5th
pray
and 6th.
that it's not spitting snow
And
like it is now.
While you're on that, I wanted to mention one thing about the youth season, or about the youth. I didn't realize there was a change to it to the other day, but in the youth sportsman's license this year, in the past, I think that's been like $25, and it came with 1 turkey permit and 1 deer permit. This year, it's $30, but it includes 2 turkey permits and 2 deer permits. So,
Gotcha. Kim from Hardin County, is there such a thing as a turkey mite?
I'm glad you asked that, and I'm shocked we haven't gotten that question yet. I was waiting for it. we hear people say this a lot. I got turkey mites. I picked up a turkey and they're crawling all over me.
I had those back in the 70s.
Yeah. What we're talking about here, these are the larval stage of a typical Lone Star tick. These ticks produce these larval pouches in the grass and the weeds, and when they erupt, and it's an eruption, these small ticks just fan out. Turkeys walk through the grass, they get covered in these. You shoot a bird, you pick it up, throw it over your shoulder, or just walking through that same grass. And these larval ticks, these immature ticks get on you and spread like a cloud. It's dreadful.
It's cooties.
It's what it feels like. You feel violated when you walk through these
It's
things.
horrible. I've scraped them off with a credit card.
And so it's kind of a misnomer. They're in fact ticks, but a lot of people call them mites.
They're nasty.
But they're not very pleasant.
You don't want them.
No.
They're horrible. And that's a quick trick. If you find that I've sat down on the ground and sat in a nest of those things in the spring. And a quick tip is to pull a credit card out. I don't have any myself. I pull my wife's credit cards off. And you can scrape those off your clothes or a knife or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got into them in Greene County one time. Oh, that was terrible. All right, back to questions. Austin, this is kind of I'm going to combine several of these. Cassandra is from Scott County, Indiana. Is it possible to see a hen with a beard? And Austin from Spencer County, what's the longest beard measured on a hen? I don't know if we keep record things like that, but 2 questions.
Can you see a hen with a beard? Yes. It's certainly not as common as males, obviously, but hens can have a beard. The length, we do not keep up with those measurements. However, on that topic, if you kill a bird that you suspect, that's a really nice bird, you can have that bird scored. We don't necessarily do that, our department. However, the National Wild Turkey Federation does. And those are measurements that you collect yourself and you submit to the NWTF, and they will register that bird. They would need the animal's weight, the beard length or beard lengths, and the measurement of each spur.
Jim is from Fayette County. Can you hunt with a 410?
No, you cannot. 20 gauge is the smallest shotgun.
Ron is from Indiana. How much property do you need to hunt turkey? How many acres would you have to hunt turkeys?
It varies. I had a piece of property that I hunted. It was just a really tiny place, but it was beside some great turkey habitat. And if you can call them, you may have 1 acre, but if you can call birds into that 1 acre, you'll do great. Look at the big picture and find out where the turkeys are in the habitat and the landscape and kind of try to place yourself appropriately.
Mark is from Barron County. How many hours does a hen turkey set on her eggs during the day?
It depends on where she is in the egg laying process. They lay about an egg a day. They don't just deposit all these eggs at once. So each day as they lay an egg, they spend a little bit more time. And by the end, when that full clutch is in the nest, they're typically committed and they'll stay all day. They may come off to feed or drink a little bit, but it's a commitment.
All right, we're going into hyperdrive. We're going to answer as many questions as we can in this last look. These half hours fly, so we're going to really get to them. Corey's from Ohio. What's the age limit for youth season?
15 and under.
Tony's from Casey County. Do turkeys eat morel mushrooms?
I'd say yes.
Yes, I've seen them. I just hate it when they do that.
I know.
Larry is from Laurel County. Does a bearded hen count towards the bag limit?
Yes, it does.
Do you have to have tags to hunt a turkey on your own land?
Again, if you're considered the resident landowner, their spouses and dependent children, then you are licensed and permit exempt.
Trevor's from Carter County. How old do you have to be to turkey hunt?
There's not really a minimum age. If you are under the age of 15 or under, then you must be accompanied by an adult who is age 18 or older that stays in proximity to be able to take immediate control of the weapon.
Hank is from Cumberland County. He has some tame turkeys. Will they leave and go with the wild pack and become out of control?
Tame turkeys. I'd say
I guess
no.
they run
know
loose.
Those tame turkeys know where the groceries are. They're not going anywhere.
And they're not scared of mom and dad.
No.
All right. Again, you cannot use electronic calls.
Right. Not for turkey hunting.
Jim is from Hardin County. Best time to call a turkey in?
Any day that ends in Y.
There you go.
Typically, you'll be most effective in the early morning hours before 11 a.m. generally.
And some of those afternoon birds are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Later you go
1 or
into
2 o'clock.
season, that mid-afternoon window.
Yes,
yeah.
sir, Bob. Seth is from Rockcastle County. Is a 13-year-old allowed to hunt by himself with a gun or a bow?
No. They have to be accompanied, 15 and under, again, have to be accompanied by an adult 18 years or older.
Blake's from Winchester. When hens start laying eggs, do they stay on the nest or roost in trees? how do they do their nesting?
It depends. Once, as they lay an egg per day, the more they spend on the nest, the less they roost. By the end, they're on the ground.
Junior is from Tennessee. He lives in Tennessee, works in Kentucky. Does he need a non-resident license?
Yes, he does.
Why can't you shoot a turkey with a 410? Asks with buckshot. Asked Don from Wolfe County.
Well, one's the regulations say that you can't, and also a 410 is just a little bit small. We want to try to take these animals, kill these animals as humanely as possible, so that's why the size limits on the shotguns are there.
Dylan is from Martin County. Is youth bag limit any different from the adult limit?
No, it's not. It's 2 birds. Now, that's total season. In other words, a youth can't kill 2 on youth weekend and then 2 in the adult season. It's 2 birds total for the youth and adult.
Let's revisit this from early in case somebody didn't hear this. Getting a bunch of these. Scott's from, if you want, I don't know where he's from. If you want to take youth hunting, does he have to have a license to do the turkey calling?
No, if he's just assisting, he does not have to have a license.
I hear music, and that means we're about over. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It's beautiful weather outside. Go out and cook out. Hopefully it's getting better soon. We got some great shows coming up. Brand new season. We're full staffed now. We are rocking and rolling. Tune in April 26th right here, same place, same time. And we're going to have a call-in show all about fishing. Let's sneak a few more in. Why? Kevin wants to know. Can you only shoot 1 turkey per day?
Just a means of kind of assessing our population growth. We feel like that's an acceptable number to take during the day and kind of to expand that effort, kind of make it last a little bit longer.
And why does a hen need to be, how are their breeding habits?